Sorry to have missed Ultimate Spider-Man Saturdays last Saturday, but hey, we had a little issue with me being sick. Anyway, if you have not been joining us on Saturdays, every Saturday for the most part, except when I have to miss it because of a movie or because I was sick, we've been doing Ultimate Spider-Man comics to get you all caught up with a Saturday morning Spider-Man. And in our last video, Peter Parker helped a young boy named Jadolf who was being experimented on as a child. After having met the X-Men, Peter left Jadolf in the care of Charles Xavier. Now with things finally patching up between him and Mary Jane, Peter has managed to put everything in his life back to the way that they should be, normally. It's late into the night in New York when a woman with long silver hair stands atop a building, waiting. Across the way, she watches a man and a woman enter an office until they finally turn out the lights and leave. With a smile on her face, she fires a grappling hook over to the building and begins to slide down the wire over to it. As she gets closer, the woman sneaks into the building when a guard walks out on patrol. Once inside, she then leans over to the locked office where she saw the man and the woman earlier. She pulls out a small device to put into the door lock to override the lock, and after a few seconds, the door unlocks and swings open. Once inside, the woman makes her way to the back where the painting hangs, but before touching it, she uses a spray to create a layer of smoke. The cloud hovers in front of the picture, revealing a laser security line covering the entire wall. She then pulls out a small set of mirrors and after positioning them, creates an opening for the painting. She pulls the painting off the wall and finds a metal safe with no handle and no way to open it from the outside. After searching the desk contents, she finds an out-of-place folder and pulls on it. The folder lifts and it pulls a string and there's a sudden click. When she looks back to the safe door, it pops open and she reaches in to pull out a wrapped object. After pulling back the cloth, she finds an old stone tablet and smiles. She then sneaks back outside, but before she can leave, Peter Parker asks, what exactly are you doing? The woman turns back, and as Peter sees her figure, he tells her, wow, you're not like the usual riffraff I find sneaking around the rooftops. But without saying a word, the woman jumps off the ledge of the roof and Peter quickly follows. However, as he leaps, he notices the woman grab onto the wall and then hops back up onto the roof. As he falls, he tries to fire his web shooters and nothing comes out. Back on the roof, the woman starts to run as Peter jumps back up, telling her that she would not believe what almost happened. There he was, midair, almost about to die, and then he remembered he had spider powers and he saved himself. The woman continues to run and Peter jumps in her way, telling her to hang on. He's not done with his verbal anxiety attack yet. She jumps over him and Peter jumps again in her way, and with no other choice, she begins to kick and fight off Peter. As the two of them struggle, the woman flips Peter onto his back, telling him that he just crossed the black cat. That's 7 years of bad luck. She continues to run on, stepping on Peter's head, and as Peter gets up to chase her, he trips and falls. He looks at the woman and she just smiles before jumping and disappearing. A short while later, Peter heads back home while Mary Jane tries to fix the web shooters. After playing them for a little bit, Mary Jane fires a web shot and says that they seem to be working fine. But then the two of them begin to kiss and flirt, and suddenly they hear Aunt May telling them to come upstairs. Peter asks what's going on, and May says that Mary Jane's father is here. The two run into the kitchen, and Mary Jane sees her father, Craig, holding her diary. She shouts that she can't believe that he would go through her things, and she runs out crying. Craig says that he found an interesting story and he begins to read off, I almost died tonight. If Peter hadn't been at the bridge, I don't know what I would have done. What if no one found my body? Craig stares at Peter asking, what did Mary Jane mean by that? Peter stands there not answering and Craig shouts, that's fine. He came here to tell him that he will never see Mary Jane again. They are through. While Craig continues to yell, May steps in, stopping him, telling him that it's time for him to leave. He storms out and May turns back to Peter asking what was that all about. He says that it was nothing, they were just at the park and Mary Jane slipped and he caught her. That's all. May then asks why not just tell him that, and Peter shouts because he's a jerk. He heads up to his room and he notices the news and they seem to be talking about Spider-Man. The screen cuts away to images of him running after the woman earlier and the reporter stating that they have pictures of Spider-Man escaping the scene of a crime with a burglar known as Black Cat. Peter watches and begins to think that this 7 years of bad luck seems to be starting right about now. Meanwhile, over at the Fisk Corporation building, William Fisk's lawyer, Walter Dinny, stand with the man who was just robbed, asking where is the tablet. The man says that apparently from the news, Spider-Man has it, and Walter asks, what is he gonna do with it? The man says that he's not sure, but he has a slight feeling that Kingpin took it. Him and his criminal organization were the only ones who even knew about the tablet. Walter tells him that that would be pointless. He was supposed to just give it to them. They have no reason to actually steal it. Walter pulls out a business card telling him that he's going to give him a number to call. No one will answer but leave a message, and someone will call him back with a place, time, and how much money to bring. When they meet, don't talk about anything other than the task of getting back their item. The man says that he's not so sure about this, but Walter stops him, telling him that he made a promise to Mr. Fisk. It's best that he does not back out on their deal. The next day at school, Peter sees Mary Jane in the halls and tells her that there was something about him last night, and something involving a cat burglar. Mary Jane quietly says that they shouldn't be talking. Her dad was already looking into private schools this morning if they continued to talk. Peter says that her father's bluffing. She can't possibly think that he would do something like that, and he goes on to tell her that he can't believe that she is letting him get between them after everything that they've been through. She shouts, "What does he want her to do?" And Peter shouts, asking what does she want him to do? But rather than say anything, Mary Jane turns to cover her face and leaves. Later at work, Robertson tells Peter that he needs him to enter some personal ads into the database to be posted. So Peter starts opening up letters stating that there's money in some of these. Robertson says that people like to be anonymous when they do these sort of things, and as Peter goes through opening the letters, he finds one with a rather large sum of money in it. Robertson tells him to let's see that for a second, and he begins to read off the letter. Spider, Spider, I was intrigued by our last meeting. Were you? We should explore this. Meet me over on the roof from last time. The cat. He hands back the letter stating that he doesn't know what that's supposed to mean, but just put it in with the rest anyways. As the night begins to fall, Peter knows what this letter meant. It was meant for Spider-Man, aka him. So he sneaks out to meet with the woman where they met last night. Once he gets there, he sees Black Cat sitting on the roof with 2 glasses of wine, and he tells her that this is something you don't see every day. Black Cat turns back stating that she's surprised he actually came. She called him out so that they could talk. He seemed rather interesting. He says that she robbed that man last night and then beat the snot out of him, and she tells him that that guy wasn't a nice guy. Beating him up was just kind of a knee-jerk reaction. Black Cat then pulls her mask down and smiles, handing Peter a glass, and Peter tells her that perhaps he can stay a minute. They both sit down, and Peter's spidey sense goes off and a sigh flies through the air. Peter manages to push Black Cat to the ground, narrowly avoiding the sigh, but before Peter and Black Cat have a chance to react, Elektra jumps out, throwing shurikens at them. The two scramble to dodge the attack, but one of them flies by, cutting through Peter's costume. He shouts, "Come on, not another costume!" And then he stumbles backwards, hitting his head. Black Cat jumps up, blocking Elektra's attack, and the two begin to exchange blows. Peter watches the girls fight and asks himself what he's supposed to do. Black Cat is a burglar, and the other one, well, who knows what she's doing here? As Elektra rips part of Black Cat's costume away, she shouts that she should give back what she stole. Black Cat manages to smack the other side out of Elektra's hands, and she shouts that she's not her father. Tell her master that she is not him. Elektra tells her that she really shouldn't have done that and kicks upwards, pushing Black Cat away, and then she kicks her in the stomach. Black Cat's body goes flying into Peter, but then she gets right back up and charges into the fight when she's suddenly pulled back. She looks back and sees that her back is wed to the roof, and Peter says that he's gonna take care of this. He then asks Elektra, what can they do to make her go away? And would she at least tell them who sent her? It exactly what she wants. She kicks at Peter, and he asks if this is going to be a no then. She continues attacking with her sai, and Peter snatches it from her hand, telling her to come on! However, even without the sai, Elektra keeps swinging, and as Peter jumps away, she kicks him in the leg, sending him to the ground. He grabs his knee, asking what's wrong with her, and Elektra grabs him by the arm and flips him over and kicks him off the side of the roof. Peter's body begins to fall down to the streets, and he fires a web and slingshots himself back upwards. But as he climbs, he misfires the web and he slams into the side of the building. After falling into an awning, he looks up, stating that at least he's not dead, so that's something. He quickly rushes back up the building, and when he gets there, he looks all over the roof and sees that both Black Cat and Elektra are gone. He lays down and says, this is nice. And what did Black Cat say? She's not her father? Suddenly, the door swings open and a guard steps out, shouting, oh my god! Peter tells him to be quiet, he's trying to think here, and back home, the home phone begins to ring. Just waking up, May grabs it, mumbling, hello? And the woman's voice asks if it's May. So May asks, who is it? The panicked woman says that her name is Mary Watson, Mary Jane's mother. Mary Jane, she's gone. She packed a bag and she ran away. Is Peter there? She doesn't know what to do. May jumps out of bed and runs over to Peter's room, but doesn't see him in bed. She then rushes over to Gwen's room, frantically shouting and asking where's Peter. Gwen says that she doesn't know, but suddenly May hears a thump in the kitchen. She hurries downstairs, flipping on the light switch, shouting, Peter! Peter spits up some milk that he was just drinking, stating that she scared the crap out of him. And May then asks, what is he doing? Why is he not in bed? Where's Mary Jane? Peter says that he was just up studying for his midterm. What happened to Mary Jane? May says that Mary Jane's mother called them in a frenzy. She took a bag and now she's gone. Peter runs outside and down the street to Mary Jane's house, but before he can knock, Craig steps out asking, where is she? Peter tries to state that he's here to check on that, but Craig grabs Peter by the shirt, demanding to know where his daughter is. Peter grabs Craig's arm, telling him don't. She ran away because he was making her miserable. Not because of, but Mary breaks them both apart and asks Peter to just please go find her. Peter begins to think back to when Nick Fury told him that he shouldn't tell people who he is because clearly Mary Jane cannot handle it. He tries to think where Mary Jane could have gone, and then it clicks. He rushes over to the old warehouse where he told Mary Jane to go when he rescued her from Norman, and he hurries inside. Once months in, Peter finds a person laying on the floor and he reaches down to see who it is, and as he touches her, Mary Jane flips over screaming, asking what time is it. Peter grabs her, asking what she's doing. It's the middle of the night, and she shouts that she couldn't stand it anymore in the house. She couldn't breathe. She just had to get out of there. The entire night, her father just sat there threatening to ship her away and not let her see him. Peter hugs her, telling her that she needs to go home, and Mary Jane asks if they can just run away and get married. Peter holds her face, telling her not yet, and she tells him that she's going to be grounded forever now. So he hugs her again, telling her that's fine, he's not going anywhere. The next morning at work, Peter dozes at his desk, thinking about what Black Cat said about not being her father, and then an image of Kingpin flashes by. He snaps back awake and he begins to search the company logs for cat burglars, and one name hits: Jack Hardy. Peter reads the article about Black Cat Jack being arrested for being caught and sees him walking into court with his daughter. After a quick Google search, Peter sees the girl's name is Felicia Hardy, and her current employer is Fisk Enterprises. Over at Felicia's apartment, Wilson grabs Felicia by the neck, slamming her into a wall, telling her that she wanted his attention, she's got it now. As Elektra holds the side of Felicia's face, Wilson goes on to say to just give back what she stole because Elektra is dying to stick many, many holes into her. Peter's voice calls out to Wilson, telling him, "Boy, I haven't seen you this angry since the Colonel wouldn't tell you his recipe to his secret spices." While Wilson and Elektra are looking back, Felicia kicks Elektra and kicks Wilson in the stomach to break free. Wilson's massive body begins to fall down, so Peter struggles with Elektra as she tries to cut at him. He shouts, "Not the costume! Seriously, I really don't have a spare this time!" And then he webs up Elektra's face. Wilson starts to pick himself back up and he shouts to Peter that he doesn't know why he's involved in this. He needs to stop interfering with his life. This is too important for you two. But Wilson's words are stopped as Peter webs his face up, telling him to put an extra large sock in it. Peter then jumps at the window, climbing to the rooftop, shouting to Felicia that she needs to stop this. They're actually going to kill her, or even worse, they're going to kill him. Felicia looks over the ledge and says that he was the one who killed her father. Wilson betrayed him and left him in prison, and that is why she needs to destroy him. Everything that he says he wants, she will take away from him. This stone tablet is just the first. Peter looks at the tablet, stating that he doesn't even know what that is, and it's very noble of her wanting to stick it to Fisk, but she is stealing. Felicia shouts that he doesn't know her, but before she can go on, Wilson bursts through the rooftop doorway, screaming for her to give it back now. She smiles and throws the tablet off the roof down into the waters below. She laughs, stating that now it's just another rock at the bottom of the river, and she's very glad that he got to see her do it. Then a sigh is thrown, hitting Felicia right in the chest. Elektra turns her attack towards Peter, and he jumps off the roof to try and catch Felicia, but she's already gone. Peter hops onto the roof, shouting to stop where, but Wilson, Fisk, and Elektra are gone. Later that night, Wilson sits in a hospital bed, saying how he's going to spend every dollar they had for them. He wanted to find the ancient text so that they could find a way to open her eyes again. And on the bed lays Wilson's wife, unresponsive. He goes on saying that no matter what, he will punish those who try to stop him. But please, wake up. And that concludes Volume 8 of Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, we're going to be moving on to some really good stories soon with Carnage and the symbiotes and all kinds of crazy stuff, so I hope you guys are excited. That's coming up soon. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get your Saturday morning Ultimate Spider-Man comic books, and we will see you next time right here.